The power of play.
Hello! If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications on new videos.
Let's go!
Hello Numberblock fans! In today's video, we're going to show you how to create your own number blocks. And you will only need some plain wooden blocks and some paint. So first, you will need a lot of plain and sanded wooden blocks. So it depends how many number blocks you're going to make. We're going to make number blocks 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we will need 10 blocks in total. Then we will paint them and decorate them to make them look like each of their number blocks. So let's go ahead and create our number blocks. So for number block 1, we only need 1 block. So we need to go ahead and give the entire surface of the cube a coat of red paint. Now, depending on your paint or the type of wood you have, you might need to give it a few coats of paint. As you can see, 1 will be part of the cube club, as 1 is 1 block and a cube. 1 is also part of the square club, as her one side is 4 sides that have the same equal length. So when you finish painting it red, and once it has dried, you can go ahead and put on number block 1's face. Once your number block 1 cube has dried, you can go ahead and start painting on the details of her face. So first I'm going to start with a small circle just past halfway at the top of her face. And this will be her eye. Next I'm going to use a really dark red paint, much darker than the surface of the cube, to go around her eye, and that will be the border of her eye. Then we also need to use this colour paint for number 1's mouth. So we need to make a little bean shape, and we will position this slightly to one side. Then, once that layer has dried, I will go ahead and add the details. Next, you can either draw with a pen or use paint, depending on what you're more comfortable with, to start drawing in number block 1's pupil. We also need to make a smaller bean, the exact same shape inside of the mouth, with the black paint. And then once that layer has dried, you can go in with some more white paint or a white pen and put in some teeth for number block 1. So I'm going to put in a big smile for number block 1. So she will be showing her top and bottom teeth. And then just in the middle of her eye, I'm going to put a small white dot. Then lastly, with number block 1, I am going to go around the facial features we've just painted with a pen, just to make it stand out a little bit more. And here is our finished number block 1. So next we're going to make number block 2. So we will need 2 blocks for number block 2. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this block orange, and make sure you paint another block orange as well. So again, it might need 2 coats depending on your paint and wood. And then once these are dried and finished, we are going to leave one of them plain, and then we're going to do number 2's face on one of them. For number 2's face, we need to start off with the white of number 2's eyes. So I'm going to do 2 small ovals at the top of a block. Then once these ovals are completely dry, I am going to go around the outline with a purple. So I'm going to completely outline both of the ovals and then join it up with a little dash in the middle and put 2 little dashes at the side to look like number 2's glasses. Then for number 2's mouth, we need to use a light pink, and again, just like number block 1, we're going to do a bean shape at the bottom and completely colour it in or paint it in. Then once that layer has dried, I'm going to go ahead and paint in number 2's pupils. So I'm going to go ahead and use black paint, and then I'm also going to use black paint to draw a smaller bean shape inside of the mouth. I'm going to try and match the shape as much as possible and make it a little bit pointy in the corners, as this will create the shadow of the mouth when they're smiling. Then you can go ahead with a white pen or paint and pop in some teeth for number 2. So again, I'm going to do top set and bottom set of teeth. So just follow the curve of the mouth, but not the entirety of the length. And then for the bottom one, it is even smaller, a slight up curve at the bottom. And there's number 2's big happy grin. And then I'm going to do an outline around number 2's face features, just to make it stand out a little bit more. And here is our finished number 2 block made out of wooden cubes. Next, we're going to go ahead and make number block 3. So we need to paint a cube in bright yellow paint. However, we need to do this to 3 blocks, as number block 3 is made out of 3 yellow cubes. Again, it might need 1 or 2 layers of paint. Then once you have finished painting 3 yellow cubes and let them dry, we can move on to the face. Because we also need to paint a crown on number block 3, we need to paint number block 3's eyes a little bit lower. So from about just under the halfway point, I will start number 3's eyes and make 2 small white circles. Once they have dried, I can move on to the next stage of painting. So next, with red paint, I'm going to go ahead and start the crown for number block 3. So you can go ahead and draw a curve over the eyes and use this as a base for the crown, and then create 3 small triangles and then completely colour that in red. Next, with the same red paint, we're going to go ahead and create 3's mouth. So you need to go ahead and make the bean shape again, just like for number 2 and number block 1, but just in red paint. I'm going to do a slightly smaller smile for 3, so I'm going to make this part of the mouth slightly smaller than the other 2 previous number blocks. Next, with the red paint, get another block that is not the face and paint 3 circles in a 1x3 column on the block. This will create 3's juggling balls. Next, with a very dark yellow, I'm going to go ahead and put the details at the top of 3's crown. So 3 little dots. Then with the same colour, I'm going to go ahead and outline 3's eyes. So I'm just going to make a perfect circle outline around the eyes. Then with the black paint, I'm going to go ahead and paint on 3's pupils and draw a little bean, or a little sausage this time, inside of 3's mouth, just to create the shadow effect when she's going to smile. Once that layer has dried, we can go ahead and put on the details on 3's eyes and the teeth. So I'm just going to do a top layer of the teeth. So I'm just going to follow it round and make it slightly shorter than her mouth. Then once this is all dried, I'm going to go ahead and outline it with a black pen just to give it a little bit more definition. And here is our finished number block 3 made out of wooden cubes. So with our final blocks, I'm going to paint them green. So I'm going to pick a lighter green, as we'll need darker green later for the detail in 4's face. Again, remember you might need several layers of paint, depending on the paint and type of wood. And also we will need to paint 4 of these wooden blocks to make number block 4. Then once they're dried, we can go ahead and move on to creating 4's face. Because we're going to make number block 4 as a square, we will need 2 cubes to create number block 4's eyes. So each cube will have an eye on. So we need to go ahead and paint a smaller square of white in each of the blocks. And I'm not going to do it completely central, and I need to leave a bit more of a gap on the top as we need space for 4's eyebrows. Once this part has dried, we need to go ahead with a dark green paint and outline the white squares. So we need to do this on each of the eyes. And again, you might need several layers of paint, depending on what paint you're using. Then with the same dark green, we need a separate piece to do number 4's mouth. So we need to do this one quite large to match the size of number 4's eyes. And again, just like 1, 2 and 3, we need to make a bean shape. Then for 4's eyebrows, we need to create a long rectangle at a slight angle just above the eyes. So we need to do that on each of the eyes, and I will mirror them. Next we need to paint a small black circle in each of 4's eyes. So make sure you do this to each of the eyes on the separate blocks. And then with the black paint again, create a small bean shape inside the mouth to create the shadow for when 4 smiles. Once this is dry, we can go ahead and put in some teeth for number 4. So we'll go ahead and follow it round to create the upper teeth for 4, not to take it all the way to the edges. And then a small little piece of paint in the bottom to make number 4's full toothy grin. Then with number 4's eyes, we can go ahead and put the 2 little reflective dots in each of the pupils. Then, just like the other number blocks, I'm going to go ahead and create an outline around all of the facial features, just to make it stand out a little bit more clearly. And here is our finished number block 4 as a square. So next I'm going to show all of our completed number blocks, along with the MathLink cubes. So here we have number 1 and the 1 block of the 1 MathLink cube. Next is the number block 2 we made out of wooden blocks. And here is the number block 1, 2 blocks. Next is the number block 3 wooden blocks we made. And here is the number block 3 MathLink cube. And that has 1, 2, 3 blocks. And lastly is our number block 4 as a square. So we'll build him up in a 2 by 2 square. And then here is the number block 4 as a square MathLink cube. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And here are our finished number blocks 1 to 4. And that was the end of today's video. We hope you enjoyed making number blocks with us today and getting creative. Hope to see you again next time. Bye bye. Hello, if you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications on new videos. Bye bye.